We've gotten to a point in the show where I call it our podcasters picks, where I ask the subject of today's show to give me 3 podcasts that they enjoy that we should be listening to. So what are 3 podcasts? What are Maul's picks? 3
Maul's
podcasts
picks
that you enjoy that we should be listening to.
Oh man. Currently, I enjoy Van Lathan's podcast, the Red Pill.
Explain that. I've never heard of that podcast.
Van is he just got and I don't want to fuck this up because he has a really dope position at TMZ now.
Van, he's the black guy?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
okay,
Van. They cool dude. Very supportive. Very smart individual. And I think that he's gonna really, really make some big noise in the podcast world.
What is his podcast generally about?
He talks to people in the culture, and kind of just sits down and have a conversation with them, and just gets to know them a little better and highlight what it is that they do. But Van is just the way it's the way he speaks with people that I think is super dope, because here's a guy who's obviously very, very intelligent, but he has a cool factor to him. You know what I mean? So it's dope to see that, like, this guy who you would think is not, once he starts speaking, you're like, okay, he's an educated guy. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. So Van's Red Pill podcast. Damn, I can't really think of 2 others right now. I'm sure I could think about them before I get out of here, though.
Well, I know that Tax is.
Oh yeah, Tax was obviously, that was my favorite podcast. So yeah, we can count Tax.
Yeah,
I mean,
explain Tax's show.
Oh man, Tax is Tax was just, he's New York, man. He's Brooklyn. When I say that, it's he just doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna say what he feels. He's gonna stand by it. But at the same time, Tax, which I think surprised a lot of people too, he was a very smart dude, very, very very intelligent guy, and it was just from a different perspective. You know what I mean? It was from a more brash, tough, like a tough love type of thing, where it was like, he's gonna tell you straight up, yo, I don't fuck with you.
Yeah.
But welcome to the show. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's that type of shit where it's like, so to throw somebody off, or somebody who's not secure in themselves, it's like, what the fuck? But at the end of the day, it's like, I gotta respect this dude. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like, he's not sitting here playing fake phony with me. He was like, yeah, no, I don't like you. But I figured we'd have a conversation just to see if I really don't like you. You know what I mean? It was kind of like that thing. So I think people, they looked at that like, what the fuck am I listening to? But it's interesting because it's like, it makes sense to really have somebody that can talk like that, because sometimes you need that. Like, this era that we're in is like super sensitive for whatever reason. Like, I see it all the time. I see people online. Like, one thing that we spoke about was when Kanye said to turn off the likes on Instagram. Like, we should delete like the option to like pictures, so that people don't feel like, because people, they get kind of like depressed or sad when they see other people have likes and they don't. And I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about right now? Like, if you're that depressed and that sad with somebody's not, just get the fuck off the app. That's just me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, delete the app.
But do you think so everything's about perspective, right? So do you think that, because let's say, for instance, on, the Joe Budden podcast or many other podcasts, or on this podcast, this very moment, the life of Kanye West is being discussed, right? His life is the subject of every single show. So that would fuck with me if my life was the subject. It's different when you're talking about the subject.
I get it. But my thing is, even
just from his perspective, I agree with you.
Yeah, from his perspective, but it's like, I'm just talking to the people that are like super sensitive if they post a picture and it only has 40 likes.
Right.
And they're like, sad about that. Like, what? Like,
well, do you think also, though, that it's a matter of society? Society puts that judgment if that photo only gets 40 likes. Like, you're not popping if it doesn't get thousands of likes. It's
I don't buy into that mindset, because I know people on social media who are super cool. Like, and I'm talking about in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I have more followers than them. I get more likes than them. And I know in real life they're cooler than me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you just have to know who you are, like as a person. Like it's like this Instagram is so all this shit is just like a facade. Like even when you meet some of these people that are like deemed to be cool and funny online, when you meet them in person, you're like, dog, you're corny
that
as
definitely
fuck.
It has you're great at marketing.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm like, oh, I get it. This is all a fairy. This is a fairy tale. Like that's how I look at all of this shit, because literally, you can be whoever you want to be on social media. Like right now, if I put in my bio that I'm a veterinarian and I take a couple of pictures with dogs and cats, people might really think that I'm studying like pet medicine and shit like that.
Exactly.
Like you can be whoever you want to be, like just by taking a picture and posting it. So that's why I don't understand why people get so bent on that and get upset because I'm like, dog, this is not real. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like you can be and depict whoever you want. There's filters for, you know what I mean? Like you can make yourself look like somebody that you're not. So that should tell you alone that all of this is just like, it's just a window. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, yo, if you can't handle what goes on in this world, then just don't step into this world. Like, don't go here. Don't just go somewhere else. Or don't follow these, it's as simple as not following certain pages. You know what I mean? Like if you feel like you're gonna have depression, anxiety, then follow some uplifting pages. Follow some things like no, I'm being honest.
Right.
Like don't follow the Instagram models because you feel like you don't look as attractive as they do.
You're totally right.
You know what I mean? Like don't follow these women. If you're trying to compare yourself to them, like don't follow them. If you're trying to compare yourself, I tell people all the time, I had to unfollow Floyd Mayweather. Like I was like the shit he was doing, I was like, fuck, like this, he's spending shit. Like I'm just like, nah, my life. I had to unfollow. What's the Dan Blitzaren?
Oh yeah.
It's like, dog, I'm not living right. Like look what this motherfucker's. Look how he's living. I started looking at myself like I'm not lit enough. I gotta step my shit up. I clicked unfollow. I'm just being honest with you. I'm secure within myself, but I had to unfollow that shit because it was like, here's this dude waking up in a penthouse in Vegas with 20 naked girls on a Wednesday
with guns and like
guns and playing poker in the deck. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, no, I got it. This is not real. You know what I mean? This is not a real thing for me. So you just unfollow it. Like it's just as simple as that. So, but this era, like I say, man, it's just people are super sensitive. For whatever reason, I don't know. I mean, I was coming outside when there wasn't any social media, like where we had to entertain ourselves, like where we had to, if I came outside and my outfit was whack, like I would hear about it all day. Either I'm gonna, learn how to dress cool, or just stay in the house until I can dress cool. You know what I mean? So it was like, that to me, that molded me to be the person I am today, because I really had to go outside. I really had to be on the block and hang out with my friends. Like now people hang out in their bedrooms and talk to their friends on the phone, you know what I mean? Or FaceTime their friends. It's like people don't even have real human interaction like that. Like, on a hangout basis. Like I tell people all the time, a lot of people are even more socially awkward now. Like I'm still one of those people that I'll see a group of women sitting down in a restaurant or in a bar and I'll just start speaking, and now they'll look at you like, who is this weirdo saying? I'm like, I'm just saying hello to a group of women. That's all I'm doing. Like, I don't think I come off intimidating. I don't think I come off as a weirdo. Like, I'm just saying hello. It's just human shit. But people don't do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're losing human, like just the basic human interaction we're losing. So it's just like I said, man, you just got to know who you are and be secure with yourself. And I mean, for me, I'm glad I was raised and born when I was born, because I think I still have a lot of those values and morals and ethics that I think are disappearing.
But you mentioned that on Instagram today that you could put in there you're a veterinarian, take up pictures with some dogs, and you're a veterinarian.
Yeah.
But you're stepping into a role of now being you've stepped into a role of being a curator of culture and having a voice on culture. Are you comfortable with that role?
I'm comfortable with it only because I know that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like if I had no idea what I was doing and I was talking about and I felt like I was feeding people bullshit, then I would be worried, because I'm like, okay, somebody's gonna call me out on this soon. You know what I mean? But I mean, if I say something and I speak on something, it's because I believe in it, and I've researched it enough that I'm comfortable with feeding it to the public. And if I say something is cool, I'm not saying that you're not cool if you don't think it's cool. I'm saying, here's something that I think is cool. I think is dope. I think that anything that I think is cool, most people would find cool and interesting. That's just my thought process. Like,
is there any part about that makes you uncomfortable? Because it would imagine that you have industry relationships or industry friends. You may have to speak about people that you're personally cool with, that you vibe with as individually as people, right? Does that?
Well, the Pusha interview was uncomfortable for me because me and Drake, we're not best friends or anything like that, but me and Drake are cool. So it was kind of uncomfortable, like hearing these things, because I'm like, damn, like this
that's my guy.
This is a dude. I've been to his house. Like, I go in his fridge and make a turkey sandwich if I want to. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like, you know what I mean? But I spoke to Drake and he understands. He's like, fam, like I love the show. I think it's lit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have no issue with that. And it's just it only gets uncomfortable when you feel like you might be saying things about people that is going to come back and bite you in the ass a little bit.
Okay.
And I don't put myself in that position. Like, if I say something, I stand by it. I'm totally cool with what I say. Like, I'm not going to backpedal on anything, only because if I speak on it and I say certain things, it's because I believe that. Like, people say a lot of times, I'm real laid back and quiet on the shows because I don't speak unless, I feel like what I'm saying is 100% authentic. Like, I'm not going to just speak for shock value and for clickbait and shit like that. Like, I'm not going to just throw sick ass headlines and quotes out there for the sake of a show. Like, I don't do that. That's not how I was brought up. Like, if I speak on something, it's because it's a fact and that's what I believe.
So the last thing, our podcast was pick. I get one more pick from you.
Okay.
Give me one more show that the listener should be listening to that you're a fan of.
One more show is this show. It's three young ladies from Toronto. They have a show called the Talk Up Podcast.
Okay, what's it about?
It's three ladies. They're friends, and they speak about the typical things that three women that are friends would speak about. They cover things in the culture. They have conversations about just how women feel from women's perspective. And the reason why I listen to that is because I'm always interested to hear what women think and, how they feel about certain topics and certain things that are going on, because I think that women see things from an angle that men will never be able to see. You know what I mean? And that's why I've always had a lot of female friends. I've always talked to women about certain things because, as men, a lot of things get in the way of how we view things because we're too busy with our pride and our ego and, trying to make it seem like nothing affects us, or like we're trying to be emotionless in a lot of things. And I think in life, you have to add emotion into certain things because emotion is what's going to reveal a lot at times. You know what I mean? Like, if you put emotion into relationships, it shows you who a person is. If I show you that I care, you'll show me that you care, and then you'll start to let your guard. It's a natural human thing. And I think as men, when we deal with each other, we're so busy trying to look tough, like, yeah, I'm good, I'm cool. Like, nigga, no, you're not. You was just crying last night. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, but it's okay. Like, you're human.
You hard on Instagram.
Yeah, like it's okay. I know that, it's some things going on in your life that are upsetting you right now, and it's talk to me. You know what I mean? But women, they'll give you that freely. You know what I mean? They'll have that conversation with you from a different angle. And so that's the reason why I listen to that podcast. I really want to get more into listening to women's podcasting, because I think that in the future, the women's roles in podcasts are going to be really, really big. Like, kind of like what Oprah did with television.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So
have you heard of Two Dope Queens?
Yes, absolutely.
So they're killing it in the space.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard of Two Dope Queens. And that's what I mean. Like, I want to get more into following that, because I'm gonna be honest, I really don't listen to a lot of podcasts, only because we're so busy with our own podcasting.
Exactly.
But whenever I get a chance, I try to just see what's going on and listen to what's going on. And just because, like, again, I'm in this world now, and I hate being in places where people that have dope podcasts are standing right next to me and I don't know who they are, because I don't want it to seem like I just don't fuck with you. I'm not saying that. It's like, I really don't know a lot of the time. So I'm trying not to be, I try to open up my knowledge on a lot of different podcasting, but I really, really want to focus more on women's podcasting. I'm gonna be honest. Like Joe Rogan's podcast is super crazy. Like, you know, his shit is like out of this world. But yeah, so yeah, the Talk Up podcast, that's one of the podcasts I think that especially women should listen to.
And lastly, ask this question to wrap up every interview is, Maul, why do you podcast?
Why do I podcast? For whatever reason, growing up, people seem to think that I was the funny guy on the block, and that I was somebody that people, you know, I walk into a room and have conversation and people would automatically engage with me. And you know, a lot of people tell me it's easy talking to me. It's comfortable talking to me. So I think podcasting, it comes naturally for me, only because, like I said, I'm from an era where we didn't have smartphones. We didn't have social media. We had to really engage with each other and have conversations with each other. And, you know, I remember being outside till 4 a.m, just on the block, kicking it with the homies, like talking about everything. So it's like you kind of apply to that. You know, you don't really understand it growing up. A lot of things that you're being groomed for as an adult. And this, like I said, podcasting wasn't something that I thought I would be doing. You know, I never had any intentions on doing a podcast, like seriously. I played with the idea of it, you know, a couple years ago. But yeah, I just, you know, I think that it's a platform that it allows you to kind of feed people information. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are not privy to walk in circles I walk in and learn things that I've learned. So I think it's just an opportunity to give that and pass that to other people who are just sitting down listening and letting them know, like, bro, listen, you can do this. You know what I mean? Like, don't overthink this shit. Like, just do it. Like, if you want to get into entertainment, do it. If you want to get into sports, do it. If you want to get into, you want to be, we're in the era right now, like, if you can be whatever you like, and honestly, you can be whatever you want to be, and you can do whatever you want to do. It's all about, are you going to be persistent with it? Are you going to be patient with it? Are you going to, you know, take the losses with the wins? Because a lot of times you'll lose 5 times. You're like, I'm done with this shit, but your win was right around the corner. And that win can change your life. You know what I mean? So a lot of times I tell people, man, like, if you don't love this shit, don't do it. If your heart is not in it, don't do it, because it's going to feel like work. This podcasting shit doesn't feel like work to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. This shit is fun. I'm loving every minute of it. I'm going to continue to love every minute of it. We're going to continue to try to push this shit as far as we can. And, you know, this is just the beginning. Like, I'm not, this podcasting shit is cool, but I'm thinking, like, I'm already in 2020, like, my thought process. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about bigger shit down the road. I'm thinking television, Broadway. You know, that's where my mind is at, because I know where this can go. You know what I mean? Like, if you would have told me that I would have a voice on podcasting 5 years ago, I would have laughed. You know what I mean? But it's like, now that I see it's a real thing, if I'm persistent and patient with it, once you show somebody that, you know what I mean, like, anything can happen when you put the time in, now I'm going to try a lot of other shit. And I'm going to try to put time into a lot of other areas, because I know what comes from that. When you water this plant and you watch it grow, then you'll have something beautiful at the end of it.
Maul, I'm a big fan of you, man. Big fan of the Joe Budden podcast. Thank you so much for being here, being a cool ass dude.
Thank you. Appreciate that, man.
What you're doing in the space, man. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you for having me, man.
We out of here.
Thanks.